One day I was teasing my wife about my mother-in-law. Actually, I think all over the world, the in-laws, especially the mother-in-law, is a very favorite punching bag. So I was telling her, how did you cope with your mother? So she told me in the same jest and spontaneously, she says, the way you coped with your father. So the point is that my father is no more. He passed away in 2016, but my mother-in-law is still alive and kicking. So please be careful. Don't quote me wrong. She is very caring and loving person, very affectionate, and we all respect her a lot for all that she has done for the family. But in a joking way, when I said, how did you cope with your mother? And my wife said, the same way you coped with your father. So immediately I responded and I said, no, my father was very loving and caring. And this thing came out spontaneously, as if it came out from my subconscious mind. So after I said it, I realized that all my life, till my son was born, before that, in my teenage years and my young officer days in my school, college and all, I always hated my father. And I was very unhappy with his discipline. He was a police officer, very strict and very honest and upright, and nothing out of the line was accepted to him, and he did not endorse my choices of course of study or sports or taking an admission into this or that and all. He guided me to be preparing to be a doctor, and thereafter I came into the army. But when I said this thing, almost blurted it out, then I realized that he was not wrong. He was limited by whatever he had seen, whatever his circumstances were, and he did his best. And in fact, when I was a second lieutenant, one day we had a kind of a disagreement, not a very heated argument, but then it was subdued rebellion always from my side. I am the youngest of 8 children. So he got frustrated with me and he told me, you will understand when your son is born as to what I am doing for you and what I think about you. And to tell you the truth, I started loving my father when my son was born. And that time my father was about 72 years old, and he lived with us for 30 more years. And I am grateful to God for those 30 years, especially when I had realized that my father was always very caring, affectionate, loving towards me, and he did his best. So, and I always feel, possibly when he would have passed away and gone, God would have accepted him that, your best is good enough. And he passed away how and when? He passed away on 6th of June 2016, after he had put the rank badges of a Major General on my shoulder one day before. So possibly he was waiting for this opportunity, and he was waiting for the time that I would put on my rank, become a general officer in the Indian Army, and then he would go reassured that his youngest son has made him proud. So the point that I am making today is especially important in view of the tragedy that has happened. That air crash in which 250 plus people have died. And I was just going through some video wherein a person is saying that I am an Indian, and in a foreign country, some foreigner or a local resident, he checked me that, are you an Indian? So when he said yes, so this fellow offered his condolences and said, it is such a tragedy about that Air India plane crash. And then he said, I hope those people had time, at the time of leaving, had given a hug to their children. Now think about it. So you don't know when something may happen. You don't know when your father will just vanish into thin air. You don't know when your son may not come back home. You don't know when something such like thing happens. So it is both ways. It is both ways. Human life is unpredictable, and we have to live every second, every single breath. And as they say, it is only present. There is no past. It is already gone. You can't retrieve it. There is no future because you are not yet there. So what you have is now. This moment, this second. So we have to live life like that. We have to remember that we must pay due respect and deference to our parents and elders, and give them the respect and the love and affection which justifies to them their hard work which they did while bringing you up. If your father is not there, remember the good times. Maybe you can write down somewhere in your diary a thank you note. And if he is there, please love him, look after him, be with him, and give him that feeling that yes, I have raised a man. There is a lot of pressure on the young people of making a living, of having relationships, of EMIs and loans and job stress and pink slips and whatnot and whatnot. So you have to remember that back home, wherever you are, back home, there is a man who is wishing you all the best at all times. And there is no doubt that your parents, every parent, they love their children. They want to do the best for their children. So why there is so much of unhappiness in the families? Why the teenagers are mostly cut off from their parents, especially the fathers? Why there is so much of rebellion? Why there is so much of abuse of drugs and addiction of technology and time wasting and directionless roaming around which the teenagers and youngsters are doing? Why there is so much of time wasted on the screens, playing games, video games, or watching something which is not related to the growth in life? So there is a mismatch somewhere. That mismatch has to be resolved, and the best thing is that the teenagers have to start respecting their parents, and the parents have to understand the problems of the teenagers, and thereafter be sincere in resolving those issues. So I am sure we all understand the importance of our parents, and on this Father's Day I will talk only about fathers. So the fathers are harsh at times, they are rough at times, they are tough at times, but then they are limited by their training, by their exposure, by their financial means, by their desires, by their failed dreams. At times the parents force you to become something which they wanted and could not do, but then you may not want it. So there has to be a dialogue, there has to be civility, there has to be clarity, and I am sure things can be worked out. only thing is that one has to be aware now that we have so much of gyan available on the social media. There should not be any problem in understanding, but the point is that our focus is not there. And as somebody has said that what we look at or what we see is not important. What we understand is more important. So we have our perceptions, we have our filters, we have our sensitivities, we have our blocks, we have our blind spots. So there are communication gaps because of that. There are understanding gaps because of that. And then there is some kind of a switch or a transformation is required. You have to flip your mind, and if you change the angle from where you are seeing, possibly everything will fall in place. Every single thing will fall in place. Just reframe. So think about it, and I'm sure we all are loving human beings, but my point is that we should not be waiting for a tragedy to remind us how important our parents are, how important our father is, how important family is. It should be there at all times. So on this Father's Day, 15th of June 2025, this is to wish you loads of love and affection from your father, and a long life to all my friends that are happy, healthy and purposeful, successful, fantastic future. Thank you very much. Take care and Jai Hind.